issues affecting the country. Players in the insurance industry urged to take advantage of the growing digital footprint to increase the insured population. And FCB Nyasa Big Bullets registered their first win in the FDH Bank Premiership after beating Mafco by a goal to nil. And now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has reaffirmed his commitment to protecting journalists and promoting a free, independent media and vibrant media environment in the country. President Mutharika's remarks came as Malawi joined the rest of the world in commemorating World Press Freedom Day on 3rd May. In a statement signed by the president, it says his administration realizes that press freedom remains a fundamental pillar of democracy and a key driver of human rights, development and security. He said this year's theme, Shaping a Future at Peace, promoting press freedom for human rights, development and security, is a reminder that the right to seek, receive and impart information is not merely a professional privilege for the press, but also a fundamental human right that serves as the bedrock of the country's democracy. Professor Mutharika has further urged journalists to uphold the highest standards of professional ethics, accuracy and patriotism. This year's Press Freedom Day commemorations took place in Salima. Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, has emphasized the critical role and power journalists possess in spearheading the country's development. The minister said this in Salima during the Media Institute of Southern Africa Malawi Chapter Gala Dinner and Awards Presentation Ceremony held as part of the World Press Freedom Day commemorations. Namalomba says journalists should be part of the solution Malawi is facing by reporting responsibly in marketing the country. We have a report.
The World Press Freedom Day commemoration reached a climax at a gala dinner when journalists received awards for their outstanding work in the profession. Speaking during the event, Minister of Information Shadrack Namalomba highlighted the critical role journalists play in spearheading the country's development. Namalomba says if Malawi is to attract resources, journalists are fundamental by being ambassadors of Malawi by reporting responsibly. He said government remains committed to ensuring the media operates in a free environment. He has since challenged media practitioners in the country to upgrade themselves for them to handle their jobs professionally.
The government of His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika is a listening government. It is running an open government. And when you do that, even if you were to write negative stories, we will not punish you. But what we are encouraging you is to be patriotic. Be patriotic. You live here. All the challenges that all of us are facing, we are facing them together. You are not spared. Be part of the solution.
In her remarks, the German ambassador to Malawi, Ute Koni, has commended the growing collaboration between her government and Malawian journalists, particularly through capacity building initiatives through the Deutsche Welle Academy. In his speech, Mr. Malawi chairperson Gordon Matonga has applauded positive media relations between journalists and government. Matonga says the quality of journalism in the country has improved and diversified, citing it as a positive move. He has since commended President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's commitment in protecting journalists and promoting a free and independent media.
The President has set a tone for good media and government relations by availing himself to private media for an interview. You may recall that in the first few weeks of his presidency, he sat down with Bland Banda then of Times for an interview, and that's something that we have been calling for a number of years. So that is good gesture.
5 journalists from Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, namely Emmanuel Twala, Jackson Sijali, Justin Mkweu, Alufisha Fisher and Blessings Cheleuka, have won awards in different categories. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has supported this year's World Press Freedom Day with funds amounting to 10 million kwacha. This year's World Press Freedom Day has been held under the theme Shaping a Future at Peace, promoting press freedom for human rights, development and security. Beatrice Mwabe, Mbc News, Lilongwe.
Meanwhile, government says it is committed to promoting press freedom and ensuring full access to information. Director of Communication at the Office of the President and Cabinet, Focus Maganga, made the remarks in Salima during a panel discussion as part of World Press Freedom Day commemoration activities. He said President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has reaffirmed his commitment to safeguard the rights of journalists in the country. Details in this report.
The panel discussion was held as part of World Press Freedom Day commemoration activities. Earlier, the journalists had a march which started at Salima District Council offices up to Kamuzu Road. The panelists, including officials from Government Media Institute of Southern Africa Malawi chapter and Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, discussed the future of the country's journalism and the role of journalists in promoting economic development. Speaking after the discussion, Director of Communication at the Office of the President and Cabinet, Focus Maganga, expressed the government's commitment to promoting full access to information among journalists in the country. Maganga says this will enable journalists to fully enjoy their rights and carry out their work effectively.
His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has reaffirmed his commitment to safeguarding press freedom as well as just promoting the environment that journalists thrive, so journalists operate. From the government side, the most important thing is the commitment from the President.
Media Institute of Southern Africa Malawi chapter chairperson Gordon Matonga held the leading example, which has been demonstrated by President Arthur Peter Mutharika by granting open interviews to broadcasting stations without intimidation when tackling key issues affecting the country. He said despite some challenges facing the country's journalism industry, there is notable freedom in the way journalists carry out their work.
Every public institution should be able to release information proactively. It's called proactive disclosure of information without necessarily being requested to release information. So in order for us to achieve both proactive disclosure and obligatory disclosure of information, we need a mindset change. We have changed the law. Since 2020, the law became operational, but now the gap that remains is the cultural question. The mindset of people, the culture of people in public office in particular, is that there is a veil of secrecy which they are used to.
On 3 May every year, journalists around the world commemorate World Press Freedom Day. This year's commemoration is being held under the theme Promoting Media Diversity, Pluralism, Self-Sufficiency, Independence. Longezo Sodoka, Mbc News, Salima.
The Ministry of Information has challenged the insurance industry to take advantage of the growing digital footprint to increase the uptake of insurance products in the country. Minister of Information Shadrack Namalomba said this during a gala dinner for the Insurance Institute of Malawi held in Blantyre. Namalomba expressed hope that utilizing digital transformation could help the insurance industry reach more people, thereby growing the industry. Details in this report by Wawupi Mwangulu.
The minister's remarks come amidst concerns that insurance adoption is still low, as only 3% of the people have adopted products offered by the insurance industry. Namalomba believes the sector has the potential to grow and export its services once it places its leverage on technology.
Misinformation and insurance penetration. There is a gap actually, the gap of no-knowledge. How many people did know that the insurance penetration is 3%? We didn't know, and many people out there don't know. How many people do know that the government is serious about connectivity, that we are connecting at least 80% of the population? Not many people do know. How many people know that government has secured funds under World Bank to bring broadband to the village, to connect 2,000 schools in our country, to connect 500 public institutions in our country? How many people do know that? Not many people.
According to President of Insurance Institute of Malawi, Kondwani Kayinga, has since disclosed plans to partner with government on civic awareness campaigns to improve the numbers of Malawians that are insuring their businesses.
It has been noted that the insurance penetration has always been less than 3%. And the issue of trust is one of the issues that is affecting the uptake of the insurance. So our role will be to ensure that we uphold professionalism so that people know about insurance and trust about insurance.
The insurance industry is one of the country's economic earners if utilized with full potential, and is also a key to Malawi 2063 boost. Kainga is expected to be in office for the next 2 years. Waupi Mongulu, Mbc News, Blantyre.
Member of Parliament for Chipala Nafisi constituency in Lilongwe has appealed to authorities to consider extending loan schemes to communities affected by floods in Lilongwe. Over 50 households at Ngona got their crop fields damaged when an overflowing stream washed away crop fields and land. Chipala Nafisi parliamentarian Kingsley Chimwaza stressed the need to empower the affected households. Chimwaza explains.
And we had a lot of farmers who were planting their crops here. But with this scenario, they have nothing to do. They'll do nothing. They were getting money from here. So they have nothing to do. They have lost their lands. So I am much concerned with this place.
Probably, what do you feel could be a lasting solution to this problem? Is there a way out for the people that have been affected around this place?
So what we have decided is to provide these people with a loan. As you are aware, the government of Malawi through Professor Arthur Mutharika has given the opportunity to the youth and women, 100 million each. 100 million to the youth, 100 million to women.
I'm not employed, and this was the only income generating asset I had. And as it is, I'm kind of helpless because I was using this for sugarcane and vegetable farming.
This has greatly affected us because we were using this as an asset to support children in school, even meeting household needs.
Health authorities have bemoaned the low turnout of youths in the ongoing cervical cancer screening outreach services in Mwanza district. A gynecologist from Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital, who is also a member of the Association of Gynecologists and Obstetricians in Malawi, Dr. Green Laston, expressed the concern during an outreach activity at Mwanza District Hospital. Details in this report by Temba Male.
The outreach activities, which have been going on for the past 3 weeks, are targeting all health centers under Mwanza DHO. Speaking during the outreach at Mwanza District Hospital, Dr. Laston said girls are equally prone to cervical cancer, especially where they make their debut into sexual life at an early stage.
One of the risks for getting the cervical or the virus which causes or which put the woman at a higher risk of getting the cervical cancer is having unsafe multiple sexual partners, which is also a big problem among our generation. So even the younger generation is not immune to this cervical cancer. And I should also say that we see also younger women, 24, 25, having this cervical cancer disease. And most of the times they come at an advanced stage because of the same perception that they can't get the disease. So even the younger generation are also at a risk of getting this cervical cancer disease.
One of the women who took part in the activity, Sophie Gandali of Elia Village Traditional Authority Kanduku in the district, said although tradition denounces cervical cancer screening, the activity is important if one wants to maintain a healthy life.
We have traditions and beliefs which deter us from accessing cervical cancer screening, including inserting objects in the birth canal. But for me, medical examination is the best.
The initiative is being implemented in Mwanza district to the tune of 22 million kwacha, courtesy of the Malawi Healthcare Support UK, Mahekas. Previously, the organization has implemented a similar project in Chikwawa district. Temba Mwale, Mbc News, Mwanza.
This is Mbc News. A reminder of our top stories. Journalists challenged to come up with solutions on issues affecting the country. Players in the insurance industry urged to take advantage of the growing digital footprint to increase the insured population. And FCB Nyasa Big Bullets registered their first win in the FDH Bank Premiership after beating Mafco by a goal to nil. Welcome back. The Malawi Electoral Commission (MEC) says it will soon conduct a review process of the September 2025 general elections. Speaking in Lilongwe on the sidelines of a post-election reflection meeting organized by Oxfam, MEC Chairperson Justice Annabel Ntalimanja said the process, which will involve all stakeholders including the media, will allow the electoral body to improve and make changes when necessary in the next election scheduled for 2030. From Lilongwe, Patrick Dambula reports.
The National Stakeholder Post-Election Reflection Meeting was convened by Oxfam with an aim of taking stock of how the September 2025 general elections were conducted. Keynote speaker at the event, who was chairperson of the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, Justice Annabel Ntalimanja, said the meeting is very important because the nation cannot move forward without looking back at the performance of various stakeholders in the past election. She added that MEC will shortly be having its own review meeting so as to come up with electoral reforms where need be.
For the Commission, what we're looking at is to see what reforms need to be put in place, if need be. Those may involve legal reforms if there's anything that needs to be looked at in terms of the legal framework that is existing currently, but there could also be administrative reforms, but this will be informed by the review itself. When we review the cycle leading up to 2025 and see what worked, what didn't work well, if need be, then those reforms will come into place.
European Union Ambassador to Malawi, Daniel Aristi, said the 2025 general elections were well organized and the results reflected the will of the people.
We, the European Union, deployed a European Union electoral observation mission. We had more than 100 people on the ground observing the elections, and again, that was a really, really good job. Now is the continuation of that, so we are looking at the results, we are looking at the processes, how can we improve them to do even better in the next elections.
Among the general observations during the reflection meeting was that many women who contested in the 2025 elections failed to make it because of cultural, religious and financial barriers. On that, Executive Director of Women's Legal Resource Center, Warek, Magi Katwera Banda, says there is need to make a deliberate law so as to give women contestants a chance of making it in large numbers in the next election.
Even the presidential candidates that we had, they were taking female running mates, you see, because there's that act that is stipulating how women should be handled at that level. So for me, despite the fact that we have cultural issues, religious issues, but if we have a statutory law, if we have a statutory requirement that parties should adhere to, then they'll be forced to do the right thing. So a law is important.
The gathering brought together different stakeholders in the electoral process. Patrick Dambula, Mbc News, Lilongwe.
A coalition of civil society organizations has called for collective approach and national compliance with the Malawi Revenue Authority MRA's newly introduced electronic invoicing system for value-added tax. Speaking in Lilongwe, the CSO's Nameless Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiative, CSEDI, Mzuzu Youth Caucus, Drug Fight Malawi, the Citizen League and Youth Alive Mchinji say they have noted with concern the misinformation around the system being spread by some business entities. The CSOs say this is misleading Malawians into resisting the new tax measures. One of the CSO's representative, Gomeziani Nkoma, says the electronic invoicing system is a solution to tax fraud. He explains.
This system helps MRA to have real-time information when tax are collected, when revenues are collected. So it is a system actually which is beneficial to our country. There should be continued effort in terms of sensitization. We understand that this kind of resistance from business operators, it is due to the fact that most of them do not understand the system. At the same time, others, are benefited from AFDs through fraud and others. So there should be a continued sensitization campaign. There should be a continued interface between MRA and, of course, business operators, including us, the CSOs. Malawians should understand that this is our country. Therefore, we should hold accountable every person who attempts to defraud government through tax evasion. Every person, every Malawian should understand that it is a collective effort, that we should protect our government by reporting, actually, every person who attempts to smuggle goods and they actually also to evade tax.
And now moving on to sports, Malawians football legends who will take part in a four-nation bonanza slated for July in Zambia. Speaking after a board meeting in Lilongwe, Football Legends Association Board Chairperson Jim Kalua said they allowed the country's football legends team to should participate in a four-nation bonanza to take place in Zambia in July. Kalua spoke to our reporter Paul Mlaoka.
Indeed, I think we had a very successful board meeting, which we board admarched on issues that is to do how we have performed in terms of financials. Then because the reports which were presented, starting from the GS, who presented a report that is from his office. Then again, there was also some the policy which we have just developed for board members, and that has been approved today. In August, I need to confirm we have our gala and AGM on the same day. So in the morning we have our AGM. Then in the evening we have our that is the Legends Gala for the first time. Our target for the gala is that is we need to launch our tracksuits, and our target is to raise about 150 million. So there are several initiatives, and the good thing is we have got the guys who are committed, the board which is committed, the GS who is always there pushing. Yeah, we'll be there. We both, as already indicated, I have repeated that is mentioned that is I want to have an association which is self-sustaining.
FC Binyasa Big Bullets have registered their first win in the FTH Bank Premiership after beating MAFCO by a goal to nil. Norbert Jameson reports.
This was the first Elite League match to be played at Joyce Chitsulo Stadium in Mwanza since it was opened in September last year, and it attracted a capacity crowd. MAFCO defender Vitumbiko Piri headed into his own net inside the second minute of the second half to give Bullets a deserved victory. Bullets winger Clever Kalambo was named player of the match. MAFCO were an improved side after conceding the goal, but failed to create clear-cut chances to worry Bullets goalkeeper Innocent Nyasuru. This is Bullets' first win of the season after drawing against Civil Service United in their opening match of the new season. Elsewhere, Mighty Wanderers began the defense of their title with a 2-1 victory away to Craig Sporting Club at Obredimba Stadium in Nchinji, while Goshen Citadels Dynamos lost 1-0 at home to Civil Service United. At Karonga Stadium, Masters FC came from a goal down to beat host Karonga United by 2-1 to go level on 6 points with league leaders Silver Strikers. Norbert Jameson, Mbc Sport, Mwanza.
Well, that item concludes this edition of Mbc News. But before we leave, here's a reminder of our top stories. Journalists challenged to come up with solutions on issues affecting the country. Players in the insurance industry urged to take advantage of the growing digital footprint to increase the insured population. And FC Binyasa Big Bullets registered their first win in the FTH Bank Premiership after beating MAFCO by a goal to nil. For live news updates, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Opile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.